So two people have denied, Katie Walsh, Barrick as well, Thomas Barrick, have denied saying that he was stupid or that you had to treat him like a kid. But no one else has come out to say these quotes aren't true, these on-the-record statements aren't true, such as the line that Jim read about the Constitution and him basically falling asleep. If everything else is true, is this someone fit to be president, fit to be in the White House?
He's absolutely fit to be president, and based on a hearsay book, even though Josh is a distinguished author, and we need to read his book, probably it's more accurate.
But Josh said he's heard a lot of things firsthand that you hear in the book.
Let me say something. As somebody who was involved in the campaign during the dark hours, the Khan family, the Access Hollywood, the Grope Women, the Gloria Aldridge parade, and I say that seriously, not in a flippant way, what amazed me every time I went to New York and went to the Tower is that everybody there was always optimistic. And I'm not spinning that at all. I mean, I was in the room and I talked to Kellyanne Conway and CNN's own Jason Miller and Brian Lanza. I mean, they were always upbeat. Dave Bossie, the same way the president, the candidate himself. I mean, you look at it because I felt like I was getting my brains beat in, sometimes on this station, quite often on other stations. And then I'd go up there and it's like, there's two different.
Someone who doesn't want to read, according to this book, he doesn't read. He fell asleep and got to what Sam said. He on the record that he got to the Fourth Amendment, and his eyes were rolling back.
Isn't that the warrant?
Is that someone?
It's kind of boring.
But if you're going to be president, you should probably know about the Constitution. You should probably know about it. I mean, does that concern you?
It doesn't concern me because I know as a politician there are experts that come in and they want to tell you how the watch is made, and you really just need to know what time it is, and who is my expert that I can call on when I need to know more information. And then you get somebody who wants to be a prancing pony and tell you stuff you don't want to know, and you got a million other things to worry about. So I don't know the guy Nunberg. That was his name?
Nunberg.
I mean, he's probably a great guy, but probably he took too long giving the explanation.
By the way, it's more than just him.
I've had to sit through PowerPoint. And I'll tell you, one of the things that you just got back from Greece today. Now, I've been to Afghanistan and Iraq several times meeting our troops. And, you'd go over there and it'd be 3 a.m. and Eastern Standard Time, and a general would want to walk you through a 2-hour slide presentation. And it's important.
To be fair, Jack,
the Constitution bores you, then don't become the president of the United States of America. If you can only get through 4 of them, and frankly, the president is only focused on the First Amendment about press, you shouldn't be in that position. It's not about being qualified. It's about the attention span.
Do we really think a guy who built $1 billion industry, had real estate all over the world, do we really think he's dumb? Come on, I mean, that defies logic.
The question's not, here's the thing, though, it's not about pessimism, in the campaign. It's not about dumb, really, although there were some quotes
well, that's
there.
one of the accusations.
But the pattern that comes across here is about a lack of interest, right, in the issues, not just the Constitution, but in reading. I mean, the descriptions are there that he not only doesn't read, but doesn't even skim documents necessarily under the understand the issues. And to be fair, Jack, that's something you've heard from Republican members of Congress, for instance, when they were getting the health care legislation, that he did not know the essential details of key policy priorities.
And on national security briefings, right? Haven't we heard that he doesn't want to hear national security briefings, doesn't have the attention span?
I'd say Wolf is selling books. He's going to use the quotes that give anti-Trump people the affirmation they're looking for. The same thing was said about Ronald Reagan. Oh, he can barely stay awake. He's so simple-minded. He doesn't understand things. And it was that same kind of criticism. And I think, frankly, on our side, we have standard criticisms that we would say about presidents and how liberal they are, or how crazy they really are underneath the hood of the car. But I think I just don't believe any of this stuff is really substantive. It wouldn't hold up in a court of law.
Josh, how does it square with what you've heard?
I mean, it squares almost precisely with what, campaign officials would say during the campaign. There was enormous frustration in the difficulty that people had briefing Trump in any level of depth on policy issues. And he certainly isn't known as a close reader. When my book came out, I was told by a senior White House official, they say, he's not going to read your book, but he will look at the cover and he's going to get angry about it because Steve Bannon is on there. I thought that was an insightful comment about his depth of interest in reading books.
Michael, beyond the knowledge of the issues, policy issues, Constitution, et cetera, there's a lackadaisical attitude that comes across about the issue of law, right? I mean, if you go, for instance, to crafting that statement, the initial misleading statement about what went on in the Trump Tower meeting, right, which Trump himself was involved in, does from a legal perspective, do you see openings here for breaking the law, right? I mean, based on this kind of handling these issues.
He certainly is flippant, I think, about his responsibilities with respect to his role as the chief executive officer and leader of the Justice Department. Because what is more troubling almost than the lackadaisical nature, which I completely agree with, is his view that he has the right to intervene in criminal justice matters. The Huma Abedin, she should be in jail. Crooked Hillary, she should be in jail. I wish, he said, I could intervene more in the Justice Department on individual cases, but they tell me I can't do that. Not knowing that sort of basic responsibility of the role of the White House versus the role of the Justice Department versus the role of the FBI is very scary from a pure administration of justice.